Bahamas Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay. Championship Tuesday on hand for you. First event of the Web.com Tour season in 2018. The waves crashing off of Emerald Bay on the peninsula. The wind up yet again, and a little bit of rain has started to fall over the past 30 minutes for the first event of 2018 on the Web.com Tour. For the second straight year, we begin things in the Bahamas. Not a bad way to get it going in the middle of January. Currently 78 degrees. Isolated thunderstorms in the area. Winds coming out of the northeast at about 12 miles per hour. This Greg Norman design layout, a challenge to begin with. Mother Nature might have a little something to say about it before it's all said and done. Steve Burkowski with you alongside Players Champion Craig Perks and 19-year-old Sung Jae Im out of the gates quickly here at 3.
Yeah, not affecting this 19-year-old. Began the day tied for lead. Birdie the opening hole, and that would set up another birdie at the third.
That got him to 8 under. Now at the par 3-6. This to get to 9 under par.
Yeah, left it in a great spot underneath the hole, turning right to left. Has eliminated all the mistakes. Only 4 bogeys for the entire week for the young man.
And he keeps it going here at the par 4-8 to get to 10 under par.
Certainly rolling the rock beautifully on this final round.
Im finished second at Q School about 6 weeks ago behind medalist Lee McCoy. And there you see it as Sung Jae Im, the 19-year-old Korean, makes the turn. 10 under par, a 2-shot lead over Bo Hoag. Max Homa, twice a winner on the Web.com Tour, is one of 4 players 3 shots back, but all these players within reach, 4, 5, 6 shots behind. Shaping up to be a great final round of the opening event of the Web.com Tour season here in 2018. Kramer Hickok, we saw him earlier in the week, roommates and former teammates with Jordan Spieth. A good start to his Web.com Tour career. Steve Burkowski and Craig Perks, so glad you could be with us. Pleased to be joined by Phil Blackmar, and down out on the golf course helping us call the action, Trip Eisenhower and Gary Christian. And you are looking at the par 3 11th. Bo Hoag getting set to tee off here at this short par 3, and Trip's down there watching.
Yes, sir, Steve. 147 yards today, but playing much more like 160, I would say, in a dangerous back right hole location. You do not want to miss anything right of this hole location because there's an ocean over there. And Bo Hoag, known for his great ball striking. In fact, Craig, is it any surprise to see the best ball striker on the tour last year atop this leaderboard?
Yeah, no, this is a ball striking venue right here. Limited starts last year on the Web.com Tour, just 12 minutes, but was #1 in the ball striking category, 3rd in accuracy in greens and regulation. Right up his alley in tough conditions here, Phil Blackmar.
No, it really is, and this is a tough stretch of holes. 10 through 13, 4 holes, all in the top 4 most difficult holes on the day. It looks as though the wind just kind of let up a little bit out there. It's with this rain.
Well, you know what? It did, but now it's starting to pick back up. I thought there was a bit of a trade-off there where the wind was kind of laying down with the rain, but Phil, it's starting to freshen back up just a little bit, and the rain showers are getting just a little bit less than they were about 10 minutes ago. This is an 8-iron, and he needs a big one here, back into this wind.
Be careful.
Well, he's got this one going well left. This is going to miss the green into the sandy area.
Yeah, if we can quite see it, okay. It's going to be up underneath the lip a little bit, it looks like. May have plugged a little, hard to tell. Not a very good looking lie, though. It's going to be a difficult up and down. Justin Lauer will be next to play, currently at -4.
Probably needs to get something going, doesn't he, Phil? With this stretch of holes, there are some birdie holes if you hit some good shots, but I wouldn't call this one that. This is an 8-iron as well.
No, they're tough, but they're short. So
true.
There are holes that you could, with a really good shot, could get it close and conceivably make some birdies, but they're also very dangerous. Set it up on that left-hand side of the tee box, aiming a little bit more towards the water on that angle.
It's in the middle of the green, trying to work towards the hole, but should be flag high.
That's a good shot there, hole high, about 18, maybe 20 feet for birdie. have to think that's your play back there in the back center of the green. Now, Max Homa will be next to play, coming off bogey at the 10th, currently at -7.
Yeah, coming off a disappointing 3-putt, left himself a really long, over 60-some feet, and hit a really good second putt, but just missed it. So he's got 8-iron as well. That's the common club choice. And you're right, Phil. That shot where Lauer just hit it, I'm sure Max Homa would take it right there. Practicing a bit of a fade swing.
It can be hard to control your flight into the breeze with a short iron if you do play a fade. Most players go a little draw or a straight shot into the breeze to keep it down and flight it a little better.
And what wind is there out of the direction is out of the left. This one is fading slightly, should be slightly right of Lauer's.
Good line, comes up a little short. About 30 feet left there for birdie for Homa. So we're underway here. Final round, Championship Tuesday here in the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay. It's going to be a fun afternoon to watch some golf.
Today's coverage is brought to you by the Islands of the Bahamas, Sandals Emerald Bay.
Get a little sand. O'Shea kind of goes down in there hard, but
I agree with you, Phil. 10 inches of rain have fallen, so I've sort of washed some of these areas out, and then up against the lip, you're trying to come.
that's a huge mistake,
Yep.
isn't it, at this point?
Now ahead at the 12th, the par 4. Brett Druitt has this for birdie, would move him to 8 under and just 2 back.
Oh, this would be stealing one, the hardest hole on the golf course the entire week. And that is only the 5th birdie on the 12th today. Beautiful hole there for the Australian. Played the PGA Tour last year, taking some of that experience forward to this week and beyond.
How difficult was this hole in comparison to everything?
It was the hardest hole on the Web.com Tour's history last year. 5.08 was scoring out. A little different conditions this year. A little closer look at Sandals Emerald Bay, a Greg Norman design. Front 9 sort of sand dunes and mangroves, and the back 9 out on the peninsula. Only golf course here on the Great Exuma, the longest golf course in the Caribbean, just over 7,000 yards. You see paspalum throughout. See shore paspalum actually, which flourishes in salt water. It's a gorgeous golf course. This was, I think Greg Norman has now designed over 100 golf courses worldwide, and he's very proud of this one.
And now back to the 11th. Hogue is going to take a drop from the lateral hazard, so he'll be able to drop on that side as long as he doesn't get any closer to the hole, Trip.
Exactly, and he's trying to get it there where he can at least putt it. And you can see it's going to roll back into the hazard, so he's more than likely going to get to place this ball. And that'll give him a decent look, Phil, at saving bogey, and that would obviously be huge because he can obviously putt this one, and it's going to have quite a bit of break to his left, but all in all, it is makeable.
You know, it's so important here for these players to get off to a good start, first term of the season. And while he gets ready, we're going to jump back 1 to 10.
Yeah, Sungjae Im, tournament leader, 10 under, a 2-shot lead, getting ready for his second here at the par 4, and Gary Christian's down there watching.
Well, yeah, it's still playing quite long, even though the wind's just dropped. A little utility wood here for Im. Flag right at the back today. If you can get it on that top half, the top deck of this green, it's a great bonus. 4's a great score.
Yeah, this green depth 50 yards deep, and this hole back 41 paces. Gorgeous shot there.
Wonderfully done by Im, who went out in 4 under 32 on the front 9. So if Brett Druitt stole one with birdie at 12, Im might do the same at 10.
Looks unfazed being in this moment, 19-year-old, but you go a little deeper, 155th in the world ranking. Has played the last couple of years in Japan.
Back at the 11th, Holman did putt for birdie. He's going to have a little par putt left here.
Yeah, just a little bit of minor housekeeping here.
It just looks like it's slowing down out there, Trip, is it?
It is. You're exactly right. That rain especially. I mean, you know, the greens are sticky anyway, and then you throw in that rain, they're just that much tougher to get it to the hole.
Well, this stretch of holes here is exposed down on this point, and the wind blowing, you're going to feel every breath, and so it'd be a little bit of an advantage if these guys can avoid some of the worst wind of the day. Looks like Lauer will go next.
Yeah, this is about 15 feet, moving to his right. The advantage he does have here, Phil, with those conditions that we talked about it slowing down, is this one is downhill ever so slightly, so he should be able to get this one there. It's all about matching line and speed, because he can play this out about a foot, foot and a half easily. Whether I said he could get it to the hole, that wasn't a problem, and sure enough.
You know, par in one of the most difficult holes in the golf course is not a bad score. Stays at -4. Move up a couple to the next par 3 now. This one just playing 123 yards. Also one of the most difficult holes in the golf course today. This is Brett Druitt at 8 under par. The hole back in the back right corner. He set a little abbreviated swing, trying to hit a little low knock down, skip it back there. And what a beautiful shot. That was very, very well played. A lot of imagination. Back at 11 now for bogey, Hogue.
And there's those sticky conditions, Phil.
Well, he had his 9 under through number 8 with 4 birdies in his first 8 holes today, but he drops 2 here, so he's dropped 3 shots now in the last 3 holes. Very costly for Bo Hogue. He falls back to -6. Right now, M's atop the board at -10, leading by 2.
In the Bahamas, out to the action at the 10th. Long birdie putt on the way for Carlos Ortiz.
Yeah, a good 70-footer up the hill. And that's very nicely done indeed. Got it down there about 3.5, 4 feet.
3 times a winner on the Web.com Tour back in 2014. But the past year or two, Craig, has been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, it has. There was a precipitous fall off in his ball striking on tour after his rookie year, and that's sort of why he lost his card. But doing some good work with his coach, Justin Pointer, and certainly obviously knows how to win. Put himself back in this position again.
So we'll keep it right here with the final trio. Willie Wilcox up next.
Yeah, slow start so far for Willie, but very aggressive player. It's very unusual for him to leave a putt that far short.
If you're just joining us, they finished up the 3rd round earlier this morning, repaired off of the first and 10 tees in groups of 3 to get back on schedule. This is the final group out here, so 8 more holes remaining for them. We'll keep it here. Im leads by 2. A great shot here, Gary, and a chance to extend his lead.
Well, I can't tell you how impressive that shot was there. To get that basically pin high with that long of a club in his hand, and then to be straight below the hole, up the hill. What an opportunity this is. I don't think there's barely any movement here. I think with the pace he's going to have to put on it, cannot get this outside the hole.
Yeah, what we've seen in the highlights, Gary, has been putting magnificently. This is probably the shortest one of all the birdie putts we've seen. Yeah, disappointed making the 4 or missing the birdie putt, but 4 at the 10th. Second hardest hole on the golf course the entire week. Just be satisfied with that.
Bogey free through 10 holes, 4 under here in the final round. Leads by 2, and as you said, appears to be quite comfortable in this situation.
Yeah, avoid the frustration, maintain the patience. Big stage right now. Think of Kyle Thompson winning this golf tournament last year, went on to graduate to the PGA Tour.
Up to 16, ball on the way for Reem Gibson. His second shot here at the par 4. Gibson making a little bit of a final round charge as well. 4 under on the day, just over the green there, but maybe a chance to post his number. Wait and see. Don't miss world number 1 Dustin Johnson, 4-time major champ Rory McIlroy, and Olympic gold medalist Justin Rose. as they go head-to-head with defending champion and 2017 Race to Dubai winner Tommy Fleetwood. Our coverage of the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship begins tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Go back out to 16. Matt Ryan, the lefty, 31-year-old. This his second shot.
Yeah, a little bit easier this inward stretch now. He's beginning at 14 because it's now straight downwind. And that is beneficial for Matt Ryan because the whole location all the way in the back. Guy that shot 61 the final day of Q School just to get some status out here.
Yeah, finished tied for 30th. How about this? Open with 78, then goes 69, 65, 61 as we go back to 13.
Some pretty good numbers there. Brett Druitt now for birdie at 13 to get to -9, pull within 1. It just slides by. That would have been his 7th birdie on the day. Couple bogeys. Very nice round in progress for Brett Druitt for Australia. Sungjae Im, just 19 years old. He sits atop the leaderboard right now. There's a lot of players. First page all within 4. Exciting last round here in the Bahamas.
Tuesday continues from the island of Great Exuma. 19-year-old Korean Sungjae Im, a 2-shot lead over Brett Druitt. First event of the 29th season of the Web.com Tour underway on Golf Channel. We go back out to the action at the par 4 12th, and Max Homa getting ready to play.
148 yards to the hole, 140 to the front. They do get the benefit of putting the ball in their hand, so lie not an issue. This is a 7-iron. Really needs to keep this down. Wind is, when you get out here on these exposed points and you really start to get buffeted some by this wind, anything that this shot balloons will come up short.
Went down to the steel there, Trip, to try and flight that down.
It's a good line. There you go.
Back to 11.
And Sungjae Im with his tee shot.
Yeah, just a little ridge right in the middle of the green. Needs to get it over the top of that. A big 9-iron there, drifting a little right, dangerously right.
Yeah, not enough club. The previous group all hit 8s. That comes up a good 40 feet short. It is safely on the green, however.
Back to 12. Bo Hoag up next.
This is 139, and he's got the same club as Homa, so that'll tell you this is a 7-iron. It's uphill a little bit too, Craig.
And so the wind direction is it basically just straight in here, Trip?
Slightly out of the right, but yeah, I mean, 90% of it's at you. Maybe, you know, that little 10% shoving it a little right.
Yeah, so I think that maybe a little draw, because if you're going to miss it, you can miss it to the right. So start out there, attempt to hit the draw. If it doesn't draw, center of the green is just fine.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, this is a little chipped one. He tried to draw it, but it is not drawing. This was going to miss to the right.
At least he committed to the shot shape, like Phil Blackmar said, turning it into the wind. You can fly it down a little bit more, but that's the correct side of the green to miss it with the water left.
So Homa and Hoag both have missed the green here at 12. See if Justin Lauer can do just a bit better.
Well, he's got 135, and he's got an 8-iron out. And again, you can see these players gripping down. When you want to flight one down, grip it down. It definitely helps.
Just 8 birdies on the 12th hole all week long. A very challenging hole here.
It is, and you know, it looks innocuous enough when you get up here, but then you have to hit the shots, and you're like, whoa, this thing's really hard. He's pull hooked this one, and it's dangerously left. It's flirting with the hazard.
That is a huge mistake from Justin Lauer.
So So all three players missing the green in regulation here at 12, just showing you how difficult that par 4 12 plays, and what a way to get 2018 going. Second consecutive year, the Web.com Tour kicking things off in the Bahamas. Really a wonderful two-week stretch, Craig, to get it all going.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. We start down the southern part of the Bahamas, and then we sort of wander up to Abaco next week, 235 miles north, and I think the whole tour is very thankful that we've got these two events in the Bahamas in January to start the tour off. The first 5 events on the Web.com Tour schedule 2018 are outside the United States, and you go back domestically and play the rest of the regular season stateside.
Yeah, you talked about the global travel on the Web.com Tour after next week in Abaco, Panama, Colombia, and then Mexico in early March. And then they really hunker down in the U.S. and we'll be playing a lot of golf, 27 events from start to finish.
Yeah, 2 new events. We've got a new event, Savannah, and then up in North Mississippi in Oxford. Fantastic.
Look at what is up next over the course of the next month or two. A little search for the ball there as the rain really starting to fall.
Yeah, Tripp, we're looking at Justin Lau. Do you get a chance to see his ball over there?
No, I haven't gotten to it yet, Craig, but it's in the hazard.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. He has to take a drop, I'm sure.
It looks like it was barely in the hazard, and he was looking at it.
Final round 64 at Q School for Lauer. He ultimately finished tied for 42nd, just on that magic number, but inside the top 45, Craig, it is an absolute world of difference for these players.
Oh, it really is. To get in the first 8 events, and now he's put himself in a great position here to, you make some money in those first 8 events and gets reshuffled up, but poor second shot there at the 12th.
Back at the 11th now, M has a long birdie putt as the rain comes down, Gary.
Well, you wonder, as the leader, maybe he took the shorter club just to take over the back out of play. So a fairly simple 2-putt. Up and over a slight ridge, moving to the right. And the rain starts to come down heavily again.
Man, he's got a little work left there. Everything gets a little more difficult. You get conditions, rain, wind. We've got it kind of all going on right here this afternoon. Trying to win for your first time at 19 on the Web.com. I'm going to make it a little extra harder for you. Throw in some rain, some wind, and,
You can't control that, right? You can only control certain things. You can't control Mother Nature.
No, you cannot. Sometimes I like to think Mother Nature tries to control us.
Phil, what are some of the adjustments the players do have
Hope's away, but he's over here changing by me, so I don't think he's going to hit before Lauer.
We'll go back to 12, and Lauer facing the same difficulties.
And here's the thing, Steve. He looked at that ball really hard, like he was going to try to take relief, or not take relief, like try to play it, but there was a rock right there behind it, and that did everything. So I think Lauer's going to drop, and Hope's away, but these players are having to take their rain suits on and off so often today. It's a little bit frustrating, but you know what? That's part of it, right, guys?
It certainly is. And Phil, just sort of following up, as you said, it becomes more challenging from a player's perspective. What do they have to do to sort of deal with what Mother Nature throws their way?
I think the most important thing, Steve, and Craig, you might jump in if you like too, it's more attitude. I think you got to be more patient, and everybody's having to deal with it, and maybe adjust your core strategy just a little bit, maybe play a little more conservatively, don't put so much pressure on yourself, and know that you're not the only one having to deal with it, I think, mostly.
So while we wait on Lauer at 12, we go back to 11.
And Ortiz for birdie.
That was a lovely aggressive tee shot, pin high, brought it off the backstop. Now, fairly straight putt downhill.
It was surprising to see him back out on this tour. He has a lot of game that year. 2014, he won 3 times. Promotion of the PGA Tour. I expect he's going to get back out there. Very talented player.
So he remains 7 under, within reach of M, who's playing alongside. So we go up to the last, the par 5 finishing hole, the 18th, and Michael Johnson looking at closing style.
Yeah, the par 5, straight downwind today, 637 yards. That would have been for a 67 today. Final round. Good young player, just his second year on the web.com tour.
4 rounds of par or better for Michael Johnson to kick off 2018. Now back to 12 with Homa.
Yeah, choosing the putter off the green. Got about 10 feet of fringe to putt through, and then it gets on the green, and then it's very slow.
Yeah, that's so tough with the paspalum that you saw the ball jumping through that fringe. Obviously the lie was going to be good because he was preferred lie, so just didn't feel comfortable pitching it.
All right, now, about 3.5 feet for par. Sung Jae Im.
So a good caddy is a huge advantage today.
All right, good 2-putt in the rain. It's a nice par on this difficult par 3. For our leader, stays at -10. 3 more difficult holes to go.
Ahead at 14, the short par 4. This is second for Brett Druitt.
And just a front hole location. Be very aggressive here. A little unfortunate, was trying to carry that on the green, landed in the fringe and stopped.
So we'll go back to 12 with the group of Homa, Hogue, and Lauer. Looks like Max Homa, upcoming par putt.
It is, and it's about 9.5 feet. And maybe closer, maybe it's definitely 10.5 feet. But Craig, these are the ones, I mean, if you're going to win a golf tournament, you got to have 1 or 2 of these that you got to make. And I'm here to say this is probably one of those.
Yeah, he's a winner. He's won a couple of times, knows how to win one a lot in college, and this is a big moment for Max.
So tough to hit it hard enough.
Yeah, blame the third shot. That was a good attempt there for the par.
So bogey at 12 for Max Homa. Won't be the only one to bogey the 12th, but in the final round, that back 9 start with bogeys at 10 and 12. Now back at 6 under par, 4 shots behind Sung Jae Im. Keep it right here, see if Hogue can sort of settle the nerves after that mishap at 11.
Yeah, I thought he hit a better chip than he did, but some 6 feet breaking to his left outside the hole.
Excellent. Excellent 4. Stick your chest out after making 4 at the 12th and head to the 13th.
Head to 14, Brett Druitt 8 under, 2 shots off the lead. This for birdie.
Good spot to be underneath the hole, breaking left, just hit it firmly enough. Bit of a weak effort there for the Australian, but in good spot. 4 under today, got off to a flying start, 4 under through his first 5 holes, and hanging in there.
And 4 groups ahead of that final trio. If he can navigate the final 4, put up a score, let those coming down the stretch take a look as we head to break with our college leaderboard. Rian Gibson, Oklahoma Christian University, well represented on that first page of the leaderboard. And a lot of good, young, talented players. Michael Johnson, Cameron Champ with wonderful starts to 2018. But they're all chasing him. We're back with more right after this.
I can't. The Prophet, all new tonight at 10. CNBC. Get yours. Lefty returns to the desert, joining a field of heavy hitters as the race for the FedEx Cup heats up. The Career Builder Challenge, Thursday at 2 p.m. The Web.com tour action takes off in the Bahamas. Watch golf's next wave at the Bahamas Great Abaco Classic at the Abaco Club, Sunday at noon.
And
Honey,
Back at 12, Sung Jae Im leads by 2, and this to extend that advantage.
It was a golden opportunity. Remember the short one he missed at 10 too for the birdie, so he's certainly given himself a lot of chances. Just see the frustration level. You got to maintain your composure.
Now up to 14, the short par 4. Seconds upcoming here.
Wind just straight left to right now and laying down quite a bit. 97 yards to the hole. Just 90 front. He can be good and aggressive for this club because it's a gap wedge. Nice three-quarter motion, drifting just slightly right of the hole.
Jump ahead 1 to 15.
Third shot for Brett Druitt, laid up here on the par 5. You can see it's pretty narrow with the ocean on the left, runs all along this hole, and a lot of trouble on the right-hand side. So a lot of players choosing to lay up, have a little wedge in there, and that's a nice shot.
Now back to 14. Max Homa up next.
He's gripping down on a gap wedge from 88 yards.
Yeah, it's a scary shot from that distance, really, in a trip, especially with that flag stick sort of looks like it's nearly in the bunker. So you think maybe if you carry this beyond the flag and try and spin it back.
Yeah, with these soft conditions, though, this one you should be close, and this one is the right distance, just right of the hole.
Back at the 13th, behind the green. So we pan back, you can see it's a very narrow green. We pan back, and Sung Jae Im is going to be first to play, just 19 years old. Let's take a look at who some of the youngest winners have been in the history of the web.com. It's a pretty familiar name right there atop the list. Jason Day. Siwoo Kim's done pretty nicely as well. Patrick Cantley. How about that list right there? That's an impressive list. If you get on that list, odds are you're going to have a pretty nice career.
Yeah, Day winning the PGA, and then Siwoo Kim Players Championship last year, and Cantley broke through in the wraparound season.
Now back to the tee.
Wow, pitching wedge. The only mistake you can't make is long. I think it's a pretty good choice. Just back into about a 10-mile-an-hour breeze. The wind really has laid down the last 20 minutes or so. And it's down to the left, trying to cut back. That was a very aggressive shot, bringing that back fringe into play.
Certainly was, wasn't it? Flew it all the way to just over the back edge and backed it up safely on the green, about 20 feet. Another list here, South Korean-born players who have won on the web.com. Kevin Na, Danny Lee, Siwoo Kim players. So you'll know who's back to playing now. Some very impressive players that are going to continue, and we may talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. KJ Choi played such a huge role in that, mentoring these young players. Go back to the tee right now, though, and Carlos Ortiz.
It's an awkward little shot. He's gone backwards and forwards between wedge, 9, gap wedge. I think he's gone with the gap wedge now. A lot of different options to play here, but you do have that little soft rise just short of the flag. Got to get it on top of that, otherwise it will spin back down a good 20 feet short.
He's very comfortable playing a variety of shots. He's not just a swinger, he's a shot maker as well. He's fun to watch. A lot of speed in that abbreviated follow through, trying to drive it low.
Well, I didn't see it.
Looking anxiously at that one, Phil.
Yeah, Yes, he was. Not sure
ridden the
where,
wind a little bit long and left.
not sure where it went as we head up a couple to the 15th. Drew it now. See if he can capitalize on that nice wedge he played in here for birdie. All right, well done. That pulls him to -9, just one behind him now. Tightening it up even a little bit more. A lot of birdies on that card today. Look at all the circles.
Now out at 14, Max Homa getting ready for birdie. Bo Hoag already 2-putted for his par.
Well, this is definitely one that's makeable and probably must make if he's going to try to win this golf tournament. It breaks slightly to his right, about 12 feet.
Getting to the point now, trip 4 back, that sort of a must-make, post something coming down the stretch.
Without question. Good looking stroke. Wow.
Yeah, just keep putting good strokes on them. The par, trying to make the par save there at the 12. He had a good stroke, didn't go in. This one again, the same thing for the birdie, but keep doing the same thing. They'll fall. They'll try and force them in.
So Homa with a par at 14. We'll keep it right here with Justin Lauer.
Really straight putt. Not much break in it. 8.5 feet.
Seashore Paspalum doesn't have a lot of grain in it, so it's not going to be pulled late when it loses speed. Got to read these things correctly.
Yeah, as quickly as the rain and wind came in, it decided to depart. The sun trying to peek through right now. Sunshine's all about Sung Jae Im. He leads by 1 in the Bahamas.
And welcome back. This is Ortiz for par. Long left with his tee shot.
And a tangle with the ice plant.
I know who normally wins that, Gary, and it's usually not the player, is it?
It absolutely isn't. It's like going to England and trying to play out the heather. Heather always wins.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate bogey with a wedge in your hand from the tee to put it in that position. Willie Wilcox next to go.
We're interested in trying to make birdies. I'm not sure if this is the right play. We're having got a good 4 feet of fringe here.
Well, he cozies it down there. Just a tap in for his par. So our leader, Sung Jae Im, will be next. And Craig, a few years ago, you and I covered together. We were covering Barbasol, and Aaron Badley won in a playoff over Siwoo Kim. And we had a whole South Korean contingent out there, and among them leading